When Michael and I were thinking of talking to you as well, obviously you were in the Jesuit order and a scientist, and so we were thinking, well, that's really interesting because you hear a lot nowadays about the science and religion debate,
Mhm.
and you hear people saying, oh, and you hear a number of very eminent scientists say, I have no room for religion, I believe in the facts or whatever. And I think it comes as a surprise even to many people that, for example, one of the pioneers of the idea of the Big Bang, Lemaitre, was a Belgian Jesuit as well. And
Belgian Catholic priest, not a Jesuit.
oh, okay, he was
Yeah,
a
Belgian.
he was a Belgian Catholic priest, and you know, it's interesting when you hear that people talk about how the Big Bang and the idea of creation with God, as in the book of Janet, who created the earth, like it says in the Bible. And apparently, from what I read, Lemaitre was actually displeased when the Pope at the time saw his discovery and said, "Oh, this is a really good thing because your discovery allows there to be room for a creator. There exists room for God and religion to be compatible." Are these questions that you is trying to reconcile science with religious ideas like we've had them either in the Bible or nowadays? Is that something that's part of your day or of your daily or weekly job? Is that something you think about, or is that something that you think is
Yeah,
from?
so yes, well, let's put it this way. I mean, I can talk for hours on this because there's so much to start off with. Um, let me start off by saying that these are some of the questions we have at the back of our heads, and I have very kind of fixed answers for them because I've kind of sorted these issues out, as you can imagine, for myself. So my understanding of religion is basically, I mean, I look towards both a mature understanding of the sciences, which we talked about, just a bit, but also a very mature understanding of religion, which unfortunately at times people often tend to take a caricature of religion as you can take a caricature of sciences. And the problem is there's so much of stupidity floating around in religions, with people not really understanding their own religious traditions, like as we scientists don't understand our own scientific tradition and its history. There's so much of, I mean, like, so I counsel scientists to go study your history, to know how things came about. But I also tell people, religious people, go study your history, go study your sources. Okay. So the Catholic Church has a very open understanding of Scripture, and it's never really been taken into a very it's not taken a very rigid form. So there's the at least the Catholic understanding of the observatory is not to go and say go prove the Bible.
Yeah,
We understand, we are mature enough today to see and understand that the Bible is written in various genres and is not to be taken as literally. There are genres where it reports history. There is genre where there is myth, as in the books of Genesis, where there are myth to give you morals and stories. Like think of the Aesop fables. It has truths,
yeah,
right? But I mean, we know it's true, but we're not going to say that the tortoise and the rabbit actually ran the race together. Uh, we know the truth. So there are various genres in the Bibles, and we understand what those genres are, and it's going to a very deep understanding of Scripture. So this is one thing. So I like to point out that so starting off with that, objective in the sciences to reconcile faith and science is not to is not to get an easy fix where we try and make sure that
yeah,
things are. It's a very profound cohesion, and my basic philosophy, and many of us here working the observatory, is basically it's our fundamental belief now that God created the universe, okay,
mm,
and He created the universe good. That's at least that's even the book of Genesis says He created the good. Now, if He created the world good, it's a studying the universe would be a pleasure because it will only tell you about how good the Creator was,
yeah,
and that's a joy. So for me, like doing science is like worshiping God because That is, I mean, I'm actually finding out all the intricate, crazy ways and the beautiful, mysterious, not simple ways in which the world works.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening to this podcast episode. This is Michael.
This is Sam.
This is Tommy.
And this is Joe.
If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure to leave a review. All of the show notes can be found either in the description below or on our website. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next week with more Everything Astronomy.